Okay, so now we're going to review XCOM Enemy Unknown. XCOM Enemy Unknown is a remake of a classic PC game from 20 years ago, XCOM UFO Defense. It was released on PC and on the PlayStation 1. In XCOM Enemy Unknown, you take control of the super secret XCOM Special Forces teams dedicated to defending Earth against alien invasion. It is a tactical semi-RPG, we'll get to that in a minute. There are two primary modes of gameplay in XCOM. First, you play in the geosphere, where you control your resources, you direct research into technology, the construction of technology, you manage funds, you hire soldiers, and you level them up through their limited capacity to grow. They only have about 12, 13 levels apiece that they can go up, and every time you level up, you get to pick one power out of a possible two. It's semi-RPG-like, but it isn't as developed as a standard tactical RPG. The other side of it is the tactical gameplay. In the tactical maps, which are somewhat limited, you will play the same maps over and over again. In the tactical gameplay, it's standard turn-based tactical, but it's done quite well. It's very entertaining. It's a lot of fun. However, positioning, maneuvering is not quite as important as cover. The upside. The upside of XCOM Enemy Unknown is that it is a lot of fun and it's relatively unique. There are not a lot of games out there that give you the tactical experience. You have Disgaea, which is a far more developed RPG, but it is a game that collapses under the weight of its own minutia. Any game where you have to spend time leveling up your food items has just taken the idea of level grinding way too far. XCOM Enemy Unknown, not so much minutia, but it almost goes in the other direction. It is a lot of fun. The downside. The tactics in XCOM Enemy Unknown are not as developed as they could be. There's the game tries to get you to try to outflank your opponents and so forth, and none of that is ever as important as simply staying in cover. It's far more important to stay in cover than it is to search for a better angle, since the game really is stingy with accurate hits. Trying for that higher percentage of shot against an enemy isn't that important, since even a 90% shot is really going to miss that 1 out of 10 times, and it's going to miss that time that you really needed to hit. It's not as important to try to get your shots much higher than 50%. Once you've got a 50% shot, you just take it. That aspect of it is slightly disappointing. There's a reason for it. It's an homage to the fact that the original XCOM was a very, very difficult game, and they were intentionally trying to make this one as difficult as they possibly could while still making it fun. Unfortunately, in doing so, they sacrificed a lot of the tactics. The other downside is the severely limited number of levels that you take your characters through when you level up. If you just go to a quick military database, you'll find out that there are more than 12 levels from recruit to colonel. It's closer to 20, possibly even 25. It could have been a much more developed level up system in this game. That would have been much more fun to play through. But for what the game was trying to recreate, they did a great job. Finally, This review may make it sound like I liked the game less than I did. This game was a great deal of fun. Had anticipated it for a very long time. The original XCOM was one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games. I never had the chance to play it on PC, but on the PlayStation 1 it was an excellent game. On the PlayStation 3, XCOM Enemy Unknown is a great game as well. On a scale of 1 to 10, the game's true rating is probably closer to an 8, but because I'm a sci-fi nut and a tactical game nut and an RPG nut, the game is closer to a 9 for me personally. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 9, and if you're not into all of the things that I'm into, probably read it as an 8. Have you played XCOM Enemy Unknown? Have you played XCOM UFO Defense? Which do you think was the better game? Which do you think was the more difficult game? Which game do you think had the better RPG system? Maybe you even preferred Disgaea to XCOM, I don't know. Someone might even want to throw in Valkyria Chronicles if you have a PlayStation 3. What's your favorite tactical RPG in this generation consoles? If you have one, please tell me about it in the comments below. If it sounds good, I might even play it and try to get a review of that one out to you. So there you have it, XCOM Enemy Unknown. I've got a few more games I'm working on. I will get the reviews out to as soon as I possibly can.